What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and this should be a short pod. I don't really have a lot of time this weekend. Watch some games. I got some stuff to prepare film-wise for the high school season. It is what it is, but I do want to talk about just the recent couple stretches of games for the Milwaukee Bucks, which, by the way, it's not going to be detailed basketball talk. It's really just going to be about excuses being made, surprisingly, right? When it comes to Doc Rivers, we know about that. We're going to listen to Doc Rivers, a couple of minutes on that presser, maybe a couple seconds just for the main point of what he's saying. Then we're going to switch over to the Giannis post-game presser because they kind of go against each other in a way. So let's listen to what Doc Rivers had to say.
I think your three worst field goal percentage nights of the season are in back-to-backs. How do you find a way to compete better on these nights?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Honestly, we were just tired tonight. I think you watched last night's game. It was an overtime game played at an amazing pace. So I think we'll keep getting better, maybe keep getting in better shape on it, but we had nothing tonight.
So he's like, I don't know, man. Guys are just tired. And look, shout out to coaches when they want to be honest, but sometimes being honest still makes you sound like you're making excuses. And that's exactly what Doc Rivers is doing, And I understand, second night of a back-to-back, teams got less chances of winning. They're a little gassed. The other team's rested, whatever it is, right? But then we go to the Giannis presser, right? Real quick, just to kind of jump right into that. Let's give that one a listen.
Doc kind of kept it simple after this one, just said, second night of a back-to-back, after a game like last night, we just didn't have it. Legs, whatever. I mean, just did it feel like that? Particularly 32-point first half, 34-point first half.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I think anybody that plays in the NBA knows that back-to-back is part of the game. It's part of the NBA season. You gotta get ready for that. Gotta prep mentally for the load of a back-to-back. You gotta exercise in the off season, so you're able to play back-to-back. So it's not an excuse. Was the Lakers on the back-to-back too? So yeah, that's not an excuse. We didn't play well.
So right away, I loved that Giannis was like, wait, weren't the Lakers on a back-to-back too? Yeah, so no excuses, right? We just got to be better. 100% agree with what Giannis is saying. And it completely contradicts what Doc Rivers was saying, right? He knows where Doc's coming from. Yes, there is data to back that teams just play worse on back-to-backs for the most part these days. But this cannot be the effort on the second night of a back-to-back. By the way, the Lakers on the second night of a back-to-back on the road. You could tell me, they played the Pelicans. That first one was nothing. They still have to go on the road twice in a row. And the Milwaukee Bucks, like Doc Rivers, is like, well, you remember that game from last night against the Hornets. It was high pace. It was up and down. Guys are just tired. Why don't we talk about that? We're talking about a team that didn't have Brandon Miller still. No Ryan Kalkbrenner, which, by the way, believe it or not, he's been awesome. He has been an awesome rookie, okay? That looks like it's just a great draft pick right now. Traditional big, right? Doesn't do anything flashy, but that guy just knows how to play basketball, bro. He just does. He sets good screens. You can trust him around the rim. This guy is efficient around the basket. Just everything about this guy is awesome in the most traditional way, right, for a center. So they don't have him. LaMelo Ball's on a minutes restriction as well. You allowed 134 points at home to the Hornets. Yes, the game went to overtime. They allowed 58 points in the paint to the Charlotte Hornets. That is unacceptable. This is a Hornets team. LaMelo Ball in and out of lineups. Yes and no, right? Who cares about that part, right? 17th in offensive rating, right? These guys are a middle-of-the-pack offense right now up to this point, and they're an even worse defense. They're 24th in defensive efficiency. There is no excuse for a win like that against the Hornets at home, and then you come over here and you lay an egg against the Lakers, who, by the way, and real quick, to question the effort of the Milwaukee Bucks, the Hornets lost to the Bucks. They had to go right away, turn right around the next day, and play OKC. And even they actually competed the whole game, right, against OKC. There was a tricky little third quarter in there, but they literally put up a fight against the Thunder. And you could say the Thunder took them lightly. It's the Hornets, whatever. The Thunder won, That's what matters. But the Hornets actually showed up back-to-back games, no LaMelo Ball, because the minutes restriction, he's not going to play the second night of a back-to-back, and they still put up a fight, right? So I just don't want to hear about guys being tired second night of a back-to-back. Like, you can make that excuse if you guys competed, right? And you could make the argument of, oh, well, they put up a fight, they brought it close through it, like towards the end of the game, and then they let go of the rope, right? But you don't get off to starts like that in games. You don't let a game slip that early at the start of a game. I mean, that is a disgusting effort by the Milwaukee Bucks, and it's a disgusting excuse by Doc Rivers to have this team show up like this. And I feel like I've done a lot of pods where I listen to a presser for the Milwaukee Bucks, and like very rarely do I have a positive pod because they just let me down every season. And I'm always saying they're going to win a lot of games in the regular season, and it's about what happens in the postseason for these guys. But it's just these constant, like, bad losses, even bad wins with this Milwaukee Bucks team. And obviously, like, this is a team that, like, doesn't have that second star on the team anymore, right? It's pretty much Giannis and, like, this collection of players that do fit well around him because of the shooting, the spacing big with Miles Turner. But it's just, like, defensively, I'm not convinced that these guys are going to put up a fight. I'm really not. You know, like you've got guys that can play defense. You know, like Ryan Rollins plays, he does his best, right? Like, he does show the effort. You know, Giannis will do his thing, but you can't expect him to be this all defensive team kind of guy at this point of his career. You just see the lapses on defense from him. He'll protect the rim in certain occasions, but man, guys get by him pretty easily these days. Miles Turner is a guy that if you get him on an island, he's not really going to give much ground, right? Like, he can protect the rim, but even a lot of plays, man, he's just letting guys score. You know, and it just comes to that, right? And then you got this kind of like emergency button where they're just like, "Fuck it, let's get Kuzma out there. Let's start him now." And it's like he's going to help with size, more athleticism, a little more help defensively because, man, when you're out there with Gary Trent and A.J. Green, who, by the way, A.J. Green, actually a solid defender, but it's just like you have this small team around Giannis too, and that's what Kuzma helps with, right? This is a guy that, like, he can 45 cut, he can cut back door, he can chill in the dunker while Miles Turner is pulling the big man away. So now you get this, like, Giannis post up to a Kuzma cut to the basket, and it looks really good. But you talk about the spacing problem, right? And it may not be visible right now, but when Kevin Porter Jr. comes back, we're talking about, like, is that what the lineup's going to be? Is it going to be Kevin Porter Jr., Giannis, and Kyle Kuzma? That is a really bad spacing trio, okay? Like, yeah, you got Miles Turner. Yeah, you got A.J. Green. Guys are going to cheat away from Kuzma. They're going to cheat away from Kevin Porter Jr. whenever they can, and they're going to cheat away from Giannis whenever they can. And it's just going to look really cluttered. So I'm wondering, because of that weird three-man lineup that could end up happening, what do they do with Ryan Rollins? Because I'm thinking, obviously, you would assume, like, all right, well, he goes to the bench. I completely disagree. And I'm sorry. Kevin Porter Jr. was looking good, but you got to roll with Rollins. This guy's caught a groove. He has become a big conversation for most improved player. He can certainly win a sixth man of the year if he comes off the bench and does what he's doing. But I think you have to go with what's flowing right now for Ryan Rollins. Take advantage of what he's doing really well, which is a lot, by the way. Like, he's shooting threes. He's getting to the basket. He's finding the right guys on these passes. He's playing defense. Like, he's trying his best. A lot of effort, like I was mentioning. Good pick and roll player. Fearless type of scorer. He's just looked awesome. And, like, I think Kevin Porter Jr. is just going to have to take the L. Come off the bench. Kind of help that second unit in those non-Giannis minutes. Maybe stagger him around. But I don't know, man. Like, I think at this point, you just got to start Rollins. Like, even if Kevin Porter Jr. is healthy, that's just going to have to be what they do. I don't like the idea of those three guys out there together. It doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Now, to the Lakers' point, like, they lose to the Lakers in just this horrific way, all right? Bronny James starts. He only played like 10 minutes. You know, you get a game where, like, Jake LaRavia is like 1 for 9 or 1 for 10, whatever it is. I don't even have it written down. You know, no LeBron, obviously, right? And I know Luka's a problem. I know Austin Reeves has been awesome this year as well. But it's just an inexcusable loss for the Milwaukee Bucks. Like, you can lose a back-to-back you can't lose like this. You just can't lose like this. And so I've got my eye on these Milwaukee Bucks in a sort of bad kind of scope right now. Like I know they're going to be a good regular season team, but I'm already starting to see similar things to last year, right? Where it's like they beat bad teams, but it looks competitive, right? And then they lose to good teams, or they don't look as competitive against some of these good teams, or they're losing games they shouldn't lose. Right? Like that's just another one of the parts of the equation when it comes to these Bucks games. And you could pinpoint some good games they've won, but all things point to similar problems, right? That I remember from this team just every single season. And it's not looking good, and it never looks good when Doc Rivers is back to his excuse mode. And I understand that he's like, I'm just being honest. Sometimes, man, you just gotta like put your foot down and say this is unacceptable. And like, I'm sure I didn't even listen to that entire presser. I just kind of like raised my eyebrows when I started hearing those things in the beginning. And I'm just like, man, this could quickly, look like a season of just like, we lost, guys just didn't have it. They just weren't, they were tired. I mean, coming out just like that and saying that is, I don't know, man. But that's going to do it for this one. This is the All Things Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always. I'll catch you guys on the next one.